Hi, Linda Bowen here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. I hope you're joining me from my blog hop yesterday when I have featured this adorable bag-in-a-box handbag. So adorable. I learned it from a demonstrator in the UK. I will post her name on my blog as I forget what it is at the moment. Blog, of course, is StampingWithLinda.com, but just a cute little bag. I did the grass in there because I am going to put a gift certificate in here for a special friend for Mother's Day. So let's get started. I want to show you how I made that. This one that I'm going to make on the video is using the Something Borrowed Designer Series paper. This measures 3.5 inches by 12. I also have 3 strips of the Early Espresso. These measure 1/2 inch by 12, and 2 that are 3/8 by 6. These are for the handles. And then I have a piece of the Early Espresso that's 2.5 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer because I need to score around on all 4 sides of this piece at 1/2 inch to make my purse bottom. And then I'm going to cut them, and I'm just going to slice them the long side because I want the flap to be on the outside of the bottom. Normally we want it to be on the inside, but because the outside of this is not going to show, we're going to put those tabs on the outside. I'm going to bring in my bone folder. Just crease those nice and crisp. Now I could use sticky strip or fast fuse. Because of the video, I am just going to use glue dots. So I'm going to put glue dots on those 4 tabs. Again, these tabs are going to go on the outside of this base, like so. Then I'm going to bring in my 3.5 by 12 inch piece of Designer Series paper. I have already placed sticky strip around 2 of the sides, so 1 short side and 1 long side. I'm going to pull off that tape, and what I need to do is I need to build from the side that does not have the sticky strip, and I'm going to put the base about halfway down, or the base about halfway onto that Designer Series paper, like so, and then I'm just simply going to roll that base around. Now I don't want to crease the corners because I want it to be kind of rounded like a purse would be. Get it as close as possible to that edge, and then just kind of fold that up like so. And I have got my purse base. Going to bring in one of those 1/2 inch by 12 pieces. Again, I have already put the sticky tape on that, and I'm going to run that along the bottom. So this is going to hide if I don't have my paper just exactly square on the bottom. Looks like I did a good job with this one, but you never know. I'm also going to run another one of these 1/2 inch strips along the top because our Designer Series paper is on the thin side, and so I want to have as much stability as possible. So again, I've already taken that sticky strip and have put that on, and going to do the same thing, just run it along the top, being careful not to crease because again, I want that purse to look kind of rounded. Next, I'm going to take my handles. I found rather than doing the paper piercer, I found that if I took my small hole punch and punched a hole in the top like so, kind of pulling it down about halfway into that, into that Designer Series paper band. Actually, it's really espresso band, but it goes across the Designer Series paper. So I've punched that. Then I'm going to go into my handles and punch 2 notches on my handles. Going to bring in my brads. These are just our little brads, and I'm going to run them through the hole. Again, I found with the paper piercer, I had a tendency to punch my finger. See the Band-Aid? So I then decided that the hand punch was what I needed to use, because sometimes not the graceful person. So I've got that, and then I just want to flip this handle over like so and add the other brad. And I would do the same thing on the other side. And rather than to show you another handle, putting on another handle, I'm just going to show you then what I did. After I got both handles on, I took that third half-inch strip and run it on the inside. So then it covered up the raw edges of that brad so it wouldn't catch your finger. So there you have cute bag in a box handbag. Now, I hope you're wondering how I got this little teeny butterfly. The butterfly die from Stampin' Up! Is this size. And I did it this size. The same way, I think I have a card here that I did in another one of the boxes. I made cards that went in, and I used the happy, and the happy is big and was too big for that card, I felt, so I made it smaller. So come back on Friday so I can teach you how I took the thinlets and made them smaller. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you real soon.